In this episode of the podcast, I'm going to reveal the 7 concrete reasons that prove no contact works on almost everyone. In other words, if your ex is breathing and has a brain, there's very little chance they're an exception. Even very proud people generally don't escape it, and that's exactly what I'm going to demonstrate point by point in this episode. Without further delay, let's jump straight to reason number 1. And that reason is that our brain is wired to react to loss. When your ex ended your story, they imagined they could keep a certain hold over you, one way or another. In their mind, if one day they happened to change their mind, you'd still be there, available, ready to take them back. What they really didn't anticipate, however, is that you would disappear for good. And it's precisely when your ex decides that you've very likely moved on, that their decision will start to weigh on them for real. The trap and the mistake 99% of people make is leaving the door ajar. Begging, sending gigantic messages, staying silent for 1 week before reappearing, seeing the person hasn't changed their mind, then doing the same thing again for 30 days before showing up once more as if nothing happened. All of that will just engrave a terrible idea in your ex's mind. The idea that you will always come back and that they are unforgettable. That you will forever be that hooked ex who ends up giving in to their impulses and returning. And this mistake will cost you dearly, very dearly, because it will allow your ex to feel free to explore other options with a comforting certainty in mind. If they want to come back, you'll be there. And that is exactly what will make their interest in you plummet. Remember what I'm about to tell you? Everything rare is precious. Conversely, anything that's taken for granted loses value in our eyes. Imagine for a second that from day 1 of the breakup announcement, you accepted without flinching and vanished without a trace. At that moment, you can be certain discomfort would arrive quickly in your ex's mind, especially if the new people they meet aren't living up to what they had imagined. After only 30 to 40 days, the questions settle in. Doubt too. Your silence is no longer a game. It's a reality. On the other hand, if you do 1 week of silence then cave, 3 weeks then cave, 1 month then cave, you unknowingly implant the belief that they can come back even in 5 years, you'll still be there to take them back. Keep this in mind. We don't stage loss. We let it exist. We don't step back to count days. We accept, we cut, we hold. That's how the brain across from you realizes what it has truly lost. Reason number 2, humans need predictability, but also unpredictability. What does that mean? Simply put, by begging, explaining, negotiating, you've become extremely predictable in your ex's eyes. They know in advance what you'll do. They can read your reactions. But by staying in no contact, without reaching out, you're going to rebalance the scales. Little by little, you'll become more and more unpredictable again. And that's exactly what your ex needs. Believe me, nothing is more boring than someone ultra-predictable. Let's run a test. If your ex texts you today and tomorrow night they want to have dinner with you, they know you'll say yes. We agree on that, right? That's what has to change. Because today your ex knows that if they feel like it, all they have to do is send a simple message to get what they want. That's the pattern you need to break. Of course, as you're listening to this episode, you've probably made mistakes, broken some rules, reacted emotionally, but it's not too late to correct the trajectory. And to make sure you never again lose your dignity for lack of boundaries, you must enter and stay in no contact as quickly as possible. Let me tell you that if you're suffering this much today, it's not really because you love this person more than anything and you've lost a wonderful relationship. If there was a breakup, the relationship wasn't that wonderful. If this person left you, it's proof they are capable of dropping you. The reality is, if you're suffering this much, it's because you've been pushed away again and again by your ex. And by being pushed away repeatedly, the esteem you have for yourself has collapsed. Deep down, you don't really want to get this person back. You want to get back that validation of being their number 1 choice. Unfortunately, as long as you count the days and keep coming back, you'll be rejected. And as long as you're rejected, you'll suffer from having gone from the number one choice to the undesirable one. No contact also serves this purpose: to rebuild yourself, to step back and regain clarity, to reclaim your place, to put rarity back where you had put availability. From now on, give yourself a gift. Leave your ex with the consequences of their decision, and at the same time, give them the opportunity to satisfy their need for unpredictability. Reason number 3, silence creates mystery. As soon as you enter and remain in no contact, your ex will expect to receive a message from you sooner or later. They'll tell themselves you'll end up cracking, that you're too in love, that you can't forget them, especially if you insisted or negotiated after the breakup. But days will pass, and nothing will happen. That's when your silence will start to create mystery, and that mystery will create gray areas. And it's in those gray areas that questions will begin to slowly take hold in your ex's mind. Why aren't they messaging me anymore? Did they meet someone else? Did they realize there's better than me, after all? And what if our story didn't matter that much? When humans don't know, they always imagine the worst case scenario. And, not being an exception to the rule, that's what your ex will do too. These images loop. The relief your ex felt at the beginning will quickly give way to anxiety. And it's that anxiety that pushes many exes to reach out. Obviously, your ex won't ask themselves any of these questions if you keep coming back over and over. However, if you hold no contact, it will create enough space and mystery for question marks to appear in this person's mind. And those very question marks will make them come back to you to get answers. Except, let's be clear, many come back just to take the temperature. They just want to check if you're still available, still a sure thing, still all in. The moment you drop an "I miss you," their anxiety will subside. They'll feel reassured. Then, they'll disappear again. It happens to a lot of people, which is why I'll soon record an episode on how to respond the day your ex comes back. Reason number 4, rarity creates value. Practically speaking, by truly disappearing, you increase your value, and therefore the interest rate your ex has in you. Let me give you a concrete example. Gas. When there's plenty everywhere, we don't overthink it. We fill up and move on. But the day there's a shortage, stations start to close, lines get longer, only a few pumps remain open. Everything changes. People get up at dawn to be first. They fill spare cans. They stock up in the garage. Some are ready to buy overpriced jerry cans just to be sure they can drive. They call relatives, multiply trips so they don't miss a station that's still supplied. In short, perceived value skyrockets simply because rarity increases. And that's exactly what happens in a breakup. As long as you're there, available, a sure thing, your ex doesn't truly measure your value. You're there, taken for granted, available. But the day you disappear, when you no longer meet their needs, when you no longer serve as the plan B, that's when rarity creates longing. And that longing rekindles interest. Remember this well. The rarer you become in your ex's eyes, the more their interest in you will rise. And the more their interest increases, the more likely they are to realize they made a huge mistake letting you go, because you were actually precious. Rarity creates value. Never forget it. Reason number 5. It's about esteem. Understand one thing clearly. You can't love someone sustainably without having esteem for that person. Your ex knows you cared about them. They know you weren't in favor of this breakup initially. And we're going to use this breakup precisely to show your ex your ability to stand tall, to say okay, and step back without a scene, without pleading. That silent gesture changes everything. It sends a clear message. You respect yourself. You have esteem for yourself, and you will never lower your dignity by chasing anyone, not even the person you until now considered the man or woman of your life. Believe me, writing to your ex again and again will damage what you reflect back to them, and worse still, the image you reflect back to yourself. At first, they'll feel sorry to see you so desperate, but they won't change their mind. Quite the opposite. It will confirm their decision. Then, if you continue, it will tip into pity. And nothing destroys attraction more than pity. You don't want months or years of a story to end on that note. You want a dignified ending, where you leave the other with a noble memory, not an ending that shrinks and degrades everything you once represented in their eyes. So, respect their decision. It's essential. Look at how your loved ones react when you make a decision that protects you. They approve. They support you. Your ex has just made one. Is it the best for them? Maybe not. But it's theirs. So you do what a solid partner would do. You respect their choice, even if it stings, even if your ego screams in pain. You'll thank yourself later. This is where the paradox kicks in. The more calmly you impose this framework, the more esteem you have for yourself. The more the esteem this person has for you will also increase. You're not chasing. You're not begging. You're holding your course. That sobriety commands admiration and plants doubt. Because it's hard to let go of someone who respects themselves that much. Reason number 6. FOMO, fear of missing out. When you truly stop reaching out, something shifts. Access to you becomes limited, your signals disappear, your presence grows rare, and everything rare attracts. At first, your ex exhales, convinces themselves it was the right decision. Then days pass. No messages, no sleep well, no trace of you. The brain hates a vacuum, so it fills it. And when we fill a vacuum, we almost always imagine the scary scenario. The one where you're doing better without them. Where your daily life gets its color back. Where someone else takes the spot they thought they could reclaim whenever they wanted. Important. We don't stage anything, especially on social media. No stories to provoke. No, look how much fun I'm having to poke the ego. No innuendo. The safest move is a clean break for 30 to 45 days. Total silence. Nothing to interpret. If you have to post, stay neutral. No romance. No ambiguous vibes. No punchlines. You live. You set a boundary. You hold your silence. You take care of yourself. By the way, I'll do a full episode on how to handle your socials during a breakup. If that interests you, tell me in the comments. It's precisely this calm coherence that triggers FOMO. Your ex realizes the window isn't open all the time anymore, that access to you isn't unlimited, that the train is leaving, and that there's no guaranteed return ticket. Result: the fear of missing out rises, the urge to check in too. Interest climbs back up. Leave your ex with the consequences of their decision. FOMO will do its work, slowly but surely. Reason number 7. Open loops. The brain dislikes what's left hanging. An episode cut right before the resolution keeps running in the background. A "we need to talk" notification with no follow-up occupies the mind all day. A song stopped before the chorus gets stuck in your head. That's exactly what happens when you accept the breakup and withdraw cleanly. Your ex expected one last message, a final explanation, a closing scene. Nothing comes. The loop stays open. And the more questions remain unanswered, the stronger the need for closure becomes. This is where many sabotage themselves. Coming back to explain everything closes the loop for the other person and extinguishes their curiosity. Holding no contact isn't manipulation, it's respect. You've spoken. The decision is made. You move forward. The loop remains with your ex, and it's that loop that creates the need to come back seeking clarity. When the message arrives, it's powerful because it's sent with real uncertainty, with no guarantee you'll reply, which strengthens both your rarity, your perceived value, and the respect you're afforded. At that moment, you don't fill all the space. You don't deliver a novel. You answer with restraint. You keep your boundaries. You protect your esteem. And you let the story close at the right pace, not under the pressure of fear. And if we sum up the 7 reasons, here's what's at play. Your silence forces the brain to feel the loss. Your unpredictability replaces your old automatic patterns. Mystery settles in and feeds the questions. Rarity lifts perceived value. Your esteem sets clear limits. FOMO is born when access is no longer guaranteed. And open loops sustain curiosity. The cocktail of all that is simple. It triggers a real fear of missing out. It raises respect. It increases your rarity and value in their eyes. It makes you more mysterious while satisfying their need for unpredictability. And above all, it wakes up their fear of having lost you for good. At the core, everything you've just heard stems from a simple choice. Accept the breakup, respect the decision, step back cleanly. Leave the other with the consequences of their choice, without a scene, without staging anything, without coming back to explain it all again. A silent, clear, dignified gesture. Who would have imagined that a clean silence could trigger so much movement? The mystery that settles in, the rarity that makes value climb, the respect that grows when you hold your frame, the FOMO that appears when access is no longer guaranteed, and those open loops that sustain curiosity until they push the other to reach out. All of that. Because you decided to stop feeding, to stop chasing, to stop pleading. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't yet, remember you can answer my 10-step questionnaire to receive, by email and for free, my take on your situation. You'll find it in the description and pinned comment of each of my episodes. Take your time. Fill it in sincerely and with as many details as possible. I'll read you and reply as quickly as possible. In the meantime, stay strong, stay in no contact, keep moving forward, and I promise everything will turn out wonderfully.